Now, Genesis has so many funny songs or weird songs, like standout tracks on their record. I'm going to do a whole video about those one day because they're a very interesting topic. First of all, there's so many of them, and they're often like not great. In fact, I did a survey recently, and I asked people to list their top 5 least favorite Genesis songs, and topping off that list was like I Can't Dance, Illegal Alien, Who Done It, of course. But even songs like Anything She Does, which is the topic of today's video, and Counting Out Time as well, was on that list, surprisingly. So on the album Invisible Touch, Anything She Does is kind of their silly song or their funny song where they don't take themselves too seriously. I want to say that as much as I really dislike this song, and I'll be honest with you, when I put side 2 on, I dropped the needle on Domino and I skipped the first track. I just don't like it sonically. I don't have a problem with the lyric. I want to talk about the lyric because I think the lyric is really, really good. I think it's a really well-written lyric. It's a good commentary on, pornography or the male gaze or pinup girls as it was back then, and kind of popping the balloon of men's fantasies here. I think it's a really, really good lyric. And I think if you know what it's about, I mean, the idea of like pinups in the garage or in the men's washroom, that kind of stuff. And I remember that was like much more common in the 80s. I think it's a really interesting commentary on like the silliness of these fantasies. And I just think it's actually a really, really well-written song. So if I were to compare it, even though musically I don't like it as much as, say, like I Can't Dance or even Who Done It, dare I say, certainly not as much as I like Counting Out Time. I think lyrically it's actually one of their strongest of their silly songs. I think it actually has kind of a cool message. Now, this song came from Invisible Touch, obviously. It was never a single, although it did get a great music video. One of my favorite music videos. In fact, the music videos that they were kind of doing around the Invisible Touch era, I think they must have like completely blown their budget on Land of Confusion, because Invisible Touch, which I really love that music video, seems like a low budget video, like it's just behind the scenes thing. This may have even been a little bit of a higher budget with Benny Hill. Super funny, kind of like how it's like done in reverse at the end. I remember as a kid, I didn't know what the lyrics meant, but I loved this music video. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they ever played it on tour either. I think Wikipedia says that it was too difficult for them to play, which is very interesting. One of the things I don't like about it, my critiques, is the speed. And I think maybe that's what makes it difficult to play. The drums aren't really that exciting. I do think that kind of that low-end synthesizer, or maybe that's the bass pedals or something, I think that's really cool. I don't love the fake horns from the emulator. I don't really love that sound. Again, I think it's the speed that turns me off of this song. I'm not a fan of like super, super fast songs, not just Genesis, but with Phil as well. So I think the tempo of this, I'd be curious where this song falls in tempo for their whole catalog. Gosh, if I'm going to be doing videos for the rest of my life, that could be another fun video to like rank the top 10 Genesis songs by beats per minute. Like, what's the fastest Genesis song out there? Tell Me Why it was pretty fast, maybe. Maybe Jesus, He Knows Me. Anyway, that'll be a fun game one day. I think this record, and this is my issue with all of their silly songs, but I think this record was actually like tracking to be a lot more serious and introspective and a little bit more mysterious, as a matter of fact. I think kind of like darker songs like Land of Confusion and Tonight Tonight and Domino and even The Brazilian, I feel like this song just put right in the middle kind of just ruins the vibe. I've never been a fan of the track listing of Invisible Touch. I really should do my own track listing. We talked about that on the interview with Tabletop Genesis guys about what would be the best album opener for Invisible Touch. And, I think it could be like something like Tonight Tonight, but I think this could be like a darker, more mysterious record, even though it has hit songs like Throwing It All Away or In Too Deep or Invisible Touch. I'm just not crazy about the sequencing of this album, and Anything She Does just kind of really ruins things for me. I'll say the same thing for Invisible Touch. I feel like this record for me is like tainted by its weakest parts. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're not going to talk about Invisible Touch today. I want to talk about Anything She Does. It came out in 1986 with the album. It was never a single. I think the lyrics were written by Tony Banks. It was part of a big, long jam. I will say, lyrics are really good, and every album from the 80s had to have a worse track, right? Every album ever has to have your least favorite track. And for me, my least favorite track on Invisible Touch is Anything She Does. And it might be one of my least favorite Genesis songs of all time. Let me know. And I apologize if you love this song. I will come around on it. You know I will, because I always come around. I always change my opinion. Oh, speaking of speed, I was thinking how interesting it would be if this was a slower song, if it was grooved out a little bit, almost like in the way that like I Know What I Like is, you know, if you just like slow down that drum beat a little bit, if I might like it a little bit better, kind of the opposite of what they did with Turn It On Again. Anyway, tell me, do you like Anything She Does? Is this a song that you enjoy? Is it one of your least favorite songs? Are you one of the people that put it on as your least favorite Genesis song when we did that survey? I'd love to know. Thanks for watching.